Hey guys, Brendonian Productions here, and welcome to part 14 of how to program with Java. Now, in the previous tutorials, just a quick recap, we've figured out how to actually make programs, how to get your IDE up and running. In these tutorial series, we're using Eclipse, how to use random numbers, how to do some math, how to do some simple graphics, how to store items in an array, etc., etc., etc. Now, so I thought that it's time to make more tutorials. After all, these tutorials do make me money, and who couldn't use a little extra money, right? But anyway, I'll also want to spread the word because I'm getting tons of requests from people on how to better their programs. So why not make more tutorials to make things better? So in a previous tutorial, I talked about arrays, which are pretty much variables that hold more than one variable. So if you have several integers that you need to keep in one place, just throw them all in an array, and you're good. Now the one problem with an array is, let's create one here. We're just going to say int r equals new array, is you need to say in these brackets how big the array is. Now this becomes a problem. This should actually be int, my bad. This actually becomes a problem because what if you're getting an an infinitely large amount of data from a database, and you don't know how many entries it's going to have. You can't just say it'll have 9999 slots, because then you're wasting a bunch of memory by storing tons of empty slots in the memory, and that is not good. So the solution to this is to use a thing called an array list. So the first thing we need to do in order to get this array list to work is import the array list library, which can be done with the command import java.util.arraylist. And okay, it's giving us an error because it's not used, but we're going to use it, don't worry. So the first thing we're actually going to do is, in this tutorial, we are going to actually have the user input a bunch of data, and then it's going to gather up that data, put it in an array list, and spit it back out. So we're also going to need to import a java.util.scanner, which is the tool we use to get the user input. So now we need to create a few global variables. The first global variable we need to actually create is the scanner. So we're going to say static reader, or static scanner reader equals new scanner, and then we're going to tell it to follow the stream of system.in, which is what the user types in the console. And then we're also going to create a static array list that holds a bunch of integers because the user is going to type in integers. So, in order to create an array list, it's just like any other variable. You say the type array list, but the only difference is array lists need declarations. Technically, an array list can hold any type of object, but it is good style to declare one type of object so you don't encounter any problems. So we're going to say that this array list is going to hold integers. So this can be done by saying array list and then opening up caret brackets or pointy brackets and typing in the variable type. So we're going to type an integer, and then we're going to say this is going to be called array equal to new array list of type integer. And then to finish off an array list, we need to send in open or no parameters, but we need those parentheses, and then we're just going to do that. Now there's actually an error here. To remove the type arguments, okay, I guess we could do that. So what Eclipse automatically wanted us to do is it actually wanted us just to make an array list without a type argument. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. So we can put any. Oh, see, that's the problem. That is definitely a problem. So what we actually did is, this is a good problem. We actually created a class here called ArrayList, which is actually the name of an already another Java class, the java.util.arraylist. So we were pretty much overriding the ArrayList class, so nothing would have worked. So what we're going to do is we're actually just going to delete this class here, and we are going to create a new class. We're just going to call this one AL, short for ArrayList. and paste our code in there. Oops. Change the name to AL. And then we can insert the type declarations once again. Okay, so now everything works properly. So what we did here is we created a new array list of type integer, so it's going to hold only integers, and we called it array. It's a new array list of type integer, and then we sent it no parameters, which is good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say public static void main, because we're going to actually execute something. And so the first thing we need to do is get a bunch of numbers from the user. So we're going to say, first of all, system.out.println, please enter an array of numbers, type in 0 when finished. So when we first start out the program, it's going to print a line and say, please enter the numbers, type 0 when finished. So the first thing we need to do is we actually need to get what the user is typing in. So we're going to say string. We're going to create a new string, call it in, and make it either equal, oh no. We want to create a new integer and call it in, and make it equal to reader.nextInt. So this is going to get whatever the user types in. So we're going to say while in is not equal to 0, because we have to keep in mind that if they type 0, we don't want the code to execute anymore. But while n is not equal to 0, we're going to go ahead and get what the user typed in and add it to the array. Now, since we created an array list here, we can access it directly and just say array.add. So we're going to go ahead and add this item to our array list. So we're just going to type in, which is what they typed in. And then after we add it, we're going to say in equals reader.nextInt. So once it adds it in, it's going to ask for another integer, and it'll keep doing this until the user types in 0. Once it types in 0, this code will execute right outside the while loop. So what we're going to actually do is we're going to draw a nice line, and then we're going to print out everything that was in the array list. Now, this can be done very, very easily. Java makes this very easy. So we're going to use what's called a for loop with a colon. Well, it's not really called a for loop with a colon, but that's what I like to call it because that's exactly what it is. So I'm going to type in for, and what we're cycling through here in order to get each item in the array list is we're actually cycling through integers. So we're going to type in int I. So for each integer with the variable name of I, inside array, we're going to do this. So pretty much we're scrolling through each item in array, and we're getting that item, and then we're putting it into a variable, which we declared as I, with the type integer, and then with this item, we're going to system.out.println I. So we're simply going to spit out the list of numbers that we put in, and then our little program is going to be complete. So let's go ahead and test it out. Please enter an array of numbers, type in 0 when finished. So let's type in 2, 3, 4, 8, 94, 85, 64, 75, 61, and then we're just going to finish by typing in 0. And as you can see, it draws the line and spits out exactly what we typed in. So 2, 3, 4, 8, 94, 84, etc. Now, as you can see, this array list works especially well because the user can actually type in an indefinite amount of numbers. And since our array list has no limit, it will keep track of every single one of these numbers. But say what you wanted to do is, after it printed out the numbers, you want the user to delete one number, right? So let's just type in a little prompt here. .println, what number would you like to delete? And then we're going to say int delete, or del for short, equal to reader, which was our scanner, .nextInt. So this variable, del, is actually going to be the integer that they want to delete inside the array. So we're just going to, yes, see, this is good. Now to make things easier right now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a new method called printArray, and it's just going to print out a line and then the array. So we're just going to substitute that right in there. And we're going to change the modifier to static, my bad, because it is being accessed within the main method, not an external class. So then what we're going to do is we are going to try and find this this integer inside of our array. So what we want to use is we want to use the array.remove command. And it's really simple to do this. So the first thing you want to do, or you don't really want to do anything, you just want to type array.remove. And it asks us for an object O or an index, but we're just going to hand it over. Well, that actually doesn't work out too well. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to use a for loop to actually find the index where this variable del is actually stored. So we're going to say int I equal to 0, I is less than array.size, and I++. Now array lists once again make this extremely easy. So we're just going to create a new for loop starting with an integer equal to 0, and we're going to keep scrolling through and increase the i's value by 1 until we reach the array.size. So until we reach the final entry in our array list. So array.size just gets how many entries are actually in the array list. So we're going to say if array.get, and then we can get a little index here. So we're going to send in I equals del. Then we are going to remove this item, remove at, or just, my bad, remove, and we're going to remove del. And we're actually going to need some curly brackets here. And so we're scrolling through each item inside the array list. And once we find the actual index, or once the item at this I index that we have here is actually equal to the value of del, then we're simply removing it at i's index. And what we want to do is, since we actually remove the item that they want to remove, we're going to say break, which simply tells Java, hey, we want to cut out of this for loop. So the break will actually put us right here. And after we remove an item, we're going to want to print the array just to confirm it worked. And this should be all set. So we're going to run the program one more time. And we're going to enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we're going to type in 0 because we're done. And it spits out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then it asks us, what number would you like to delete? Well, let's just say 7, 8, 9. So, hey, got to get back at them, right? So we're going to delete 7. And then it's going to print out the new array list here, which says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. As you notice, it skips 7 because we actually deleted it from our array. So this 7 value is now non-existent in our array. There are also several other things that can be done with array lists, which will be covered in later tutorials. I don't want to make this video too long because I know my audience doesn't have that big of an attention span. But hey, I'm not dissing you. That's okay. Anyway, so thanks for watching this tutorial. I'm trying to keep up. I know I'm getting a zillion requests, but I'm trying to fill them all in, so sorry for the wait. And but anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys learned something, and have a great day. Thanks. Peace.